Hello, nerds, and welcome to the Engadget podcast. I hope you guys had a lovely holiday. We are back after taking a week off. I am your host, Terrence O'Brien. Joining me this week, Devindra Hardawar, Dana Wollman.
Yo.
I hope you guys had a lovely holiday.
Yeah, a lovely holiday
Did,
of buying
yes.
stuff for ourselves, right?
Indeed, yeah.
Yeah, well, clearly when I say holiday, I mean Black Friday and Cyber Monday, not Thanksgiving, not that other day where you're forced to, like, sit across from your family and talk to them. Who cares about those
I
guys?
love my family.
I like my family too. I'm just kidding. I actually had a great Thanksgiving. Got to do kind of double dose. Went and spent some time with my wife's family, then went home and got drunk and played Cards Against Humanity with my family.
That works.
Because that's basically our holiday tradition.
Your family sounds like fun.
Yeah. The best is we don't get to do it for Thanksgiving, but for Christmas we make my mother play Cards Against Humanity.
Okay, I'm sure she is the filthiest one. So.
It's really great watching her and her vaguely conservative Catholic ways have to say really atrocious vulgar things.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like I can't even say some of the things that have had to come out.
No, you can't. You probably can't.
It's like my mom on a typical Sunday.
Yeah,
Yeah.
The first time I had to hear my mother talk about Pac-Man guzzling semen was one of the highlights of my life, I must say.
That's when you know you became an adult.
Stop it.
Yeah. You can have that conversation with your
Terrence
mother.
O'Brien.
Yeah, so good. You guys want to get to it?
Sure.
Why not?
That's a good transition.
It's the best one I've got, unless you want to continue to talk about Pac-Man and semen.
Gobble, gobble, gobble.
Stop it.
That's the technical term for it.
Yes.
Dana, you know that, right? I'm being as polite about it as I can. She's just shaking her head for those that are listening. She's just closing her eyes, shaking her head.
It's a good start.
Let's go on to Flame Wars. Same way we start every week. For those who don't know how this works, we're going to talk about some of the biggest topics of the week. You guys each have 20 seconds to make your opening statements. I will allow a brief rebuttal, and then I will declare a winner. Any questions?
No.
No? All right. Let's start with something that kind of stuck in my craw a little bit yesterday. Yelp announced a new feature for their app that allows you to take a yelfie. This is a... I'm just going to do this.
Yeah.
Just off the bat.
Okay.
No.
The story's done.
No.
Yeah.
My question to you guys is, yelfie, is it a terrible word or the worst word?
Yeah.
Dana, let's start with you.
It is the worst. I dislike that phrase even more than Pac-Man guzzling semen. Yes. It's not even a good portmanteau of Yelp and selfie. So grammatically, they messed up, and it's not even good wordplay.
Yeah.
Devindra, is this not actually the worst word?
It's pretty much the worst word. It's pretty much the worst. I feel like we've broken the entire Flame Wars mechanism with this story because, I don't even. What's the point of taking a selfie with Yelp? Like, is it a new way of like food photography? Like, along with like your pretty food shot, it's going to be your face right next to it. I don't know.
I think that might be the first time I've gotten to buzz you, and it felt pretty good. I can't think of any words that are worse than yelfie.
Yeah.
Did anybody come up with any in the research? Like, just like a brief Google, like, worst words in the English language?
You know, if they wanted people to talk about this feature, we were talking about it.
That's true.
We lose, and they win.
Yeah.
This is
Yelp
how
wins.
much I dislike it. I would rather read a pun, and the entire Engadget staff knows how I feel about puns, especially puns sneakily published on Engadget. I would rather read a pun than read the word yelfie ever again.
I think that about settles it.
Yeah.
Devindra, do you have anything to add?
No.
There are no winners on this one. Everybody's a loser, especially the English language.
Except Yelp. Yelp wins, I guess.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah. I guess we can put Yelp down as the winner. They will get a point on our Flame Wars leaderboard.
Let's not do that.
What about the people who actually take yelfies?
They're the biggest losers of all.
What if you are the guy in the Yelfie stock photo that's going to be reused over and over again?
That guy's life is over.
Yeah.
Oh, he's probably going to get paid a lot for it, though.
I mean, that's true.
That's a thing. You
but
want your stock photo to get used a lot. So.
I definitely would not be telling people that I was
else.
the Yelfie stock photo guy at parties, though.
The
You just
Yelfie
don't wanna-
poster boy.
Yeah. You don't want to be like the poster child of like VR or something, because there's some tech journalists who are like, they ended up, their faces are just always gawking with VR headsets.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things you don't want to be the poster child for. AirPods is another.
Yeah.
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 God, technology world is terrible.
Yeah.
And on to another terrible thing.
Yeah, so let's move on to our next topic.
Speaking of things you may or may not want to be photographed wearing.
Yeah, things that you don't want to be the poster boy for. Nike, I forget the name of them now even.
Hyper Adapt.
Nike's new self-lacing sneakers. These are their quote-unquote consumer version, I guess, of the
other
mags.
ones were too high-tech for us to really... they were too much for us to handle.
Well, the mags, which were the direct copy of the ones from Back to the Future 2, I don't even know how much they sold for, but there was less than 100 of those made. These are going to be slightly more available, though not at first. The problem is that their quote-unquote consumer version of their self-lacing shoe costs $720.
Cool. All right. This is the future we want.
Yep. So the question to you guys is, are self-lacing sneakers actually worth a premium? Any premium at all? Even if it's like a $70 premium, not a $700 one. Or is it just an overpriced gimmick for lazy people? Dana, you have the unenviable task of defending self-lacing shoes.
You know what? It's fine. Let the market decide. If people don't want to pay for these sneakers at that price or any premium, then Nike won't make them anymore or will cut the price. But, it's not like Nike was going to use its resources to save the world anyway. So Nike was not going to cure cancer. So I can't bring myself to get upset about the price or the concept of these shoes.
Fair enough. Devindra?
It's the dumbest thing in the world. I can tie my own shoes. Done.
End of argument. I've got to say, Dana, that is pretty convincing.
It's not like a drug company where you're like, are they using their resources to cure cancer or give monkeys erections?
Well, Nike does have like a philanthropic arm.
But Nike was going to use its R&D to sell you shoes or sell you shoes.
This is true.
Yep.
This is true. I wish the I actually like shoe innovation. The Converse All-Star 2s, which I'm wearing right now, also Nike division.
Yep.
That's good technology. I can walk around these all day.
They're
and
dope.
I feel great.
Yep.
This is the dumbest thing. And no, I don't even care about the price because I'm sure people will pay it, but it's just dumb. Like self-lacing isn't a thing we need.
And people drive themselves crazy and pay so much money for shoes, low-tech shoes. Anyway.
It's just for the style.
And I mean, and the Yeezys, let's say, are pretty. But I don't really get all of the effort that people put into.
I don't. I mean, right by our office, there are so many shoe stores. You walk by certain times of the day, you'll see people lined up around the block.
Oh, yeah.
Just for shoes.
Edgar on staff, our senior editor, Edgar Alvarez, is a big shoe guy. So is Richard Lawler.
Yeah, we've got a couple of sneakerheads on staff.
And we should have one of them on one time just to
to try and explain it to us.
Pick their brain, ask why.
Well, I mean... I don't know. I should ask them, but was there like a Yeezy release last week? Because I walked, I was actually over in the neighborhood by the office last Friday, and I walked past a sneaker store. It was, I don't know, I want to say 11:30 p.m. on a Friday night, and people were lined up down the block, clearly settling in for the night, getting ready for the store to open on Saturday morning. And it was one of the weirdest things I've ever seen.
I mean, maybe it was a Black Friday related sale.
Maybe.
Or something. Yeah.
But why would you do that on a Saturday morning?
I don't know. I ask a lot of questions about the sneaker people. Like, I actually like footwear in general. It's just the specific sneaker style and the fetishization of this type of sneaker is really strange.
Yeah. I mean, I admittedly don't get the fetishization of a lot of things. I'm a guy who cares about clothes and cares about that sort of thing. But yeah,
I'd rather spend that money on like a good pair of leather shoes or something.
Yeah,
like something nice. Yeah,
like I love my Allen Edmonds. I will.
There you go.
Love those till the day I die. But I'm never gonna like line up outside of a store and stay overnight waiting to get a pair.
Depends on the price, I guess. Like, yeah.
I mean, yeah. If it was like they had like the Daltons, which are the really nice like dress boots on sale for like $100.
We're going to deep cuts.
Yeah, I'm just saying. There's some really nice shoes. I think we've talked enough about sneakers, and I'm sorry, Dana, Devindra wins.
Hey! I'm My argument was the best.
There is open bias.
I mean, look,
In those
You
competitions.
are the worst.
I'll say this. You make a valid point that Nike's going to sell you sneakers. That's just what they do. And eventually the market will decide. But at the same time, I literally don't understand the purpose of self-lacing shoes. Like,
Other
I
than-
just like,
yeah,
I just,
we saw it in Back to the Future too, and that looked cool.
I don't
guess.
understand
Yeah.
the purpose of your face.
I don't either. So we're in the same boat there. You win for
Okay.
that one. You get a point for that. Because Devindra's not going to convince me otherwise.
Been treated very unfairly. Sad.
Let's move on to our last story to debate, and that is Netflix and their stumbling over my words because I did not sleep enough or have enough coffee. Netflix decided to launch their offline viewing feature kind of
Randomly?
Yeah, randomly, just yesterday morning. I guess technically it'll be 2 days ago by the time this goes up. We record Thursday morning for those that don't know. And this goes up Friday morning. So yeah, they just kind of like randomly announced it Thursday morning, and now you can, or Wednesday morning, now you can download episodes of TV shows and movies to your phone or tablet to watch from Netflix. So the question, and Devindra, I'm going to let you take the pro here because you basically wrote this piece already yesterday. So is this something that Netflix needed to do? Or is this just one more like distraction that's going to keep people glued to their phones unnecessarily?
Well, yeah, I won't deny that it's another major distraction, but yeah, they needed to do this. Users have been demanding it for a while. There are tons of people who commute and who don't always have access to internet. International expansion is going to be a big one, and yeah, Netflix needs to compete with Amazon. So yeah, they need it for all those reasons, and I wrote about that. So go read that.
Should, and we will put a link to that in the description. Dana, your rebuttal?
I don't actually disagree with anything Devindra said, but I mean, as a Netflix user myself, it didn't occur to me that I needed offline viewing. And I think the one time I would be on an airplane when, yeah, it would suck to put my show on hold, but at least I can stream from whatever airline's catalog. It won't be as big as Netflix's, but it will be enough for however many hours I'm on the plane.
So that was the one use case where it kind of like stood out to me. I was like, okay, I can download a movie and watch it on the plane. That's pretty nice because I'm not paying to watch movies on a plane. If you should be entertaining me for free if I'm
This is true.
paying.
Although more and more airlines are having good in-flight service too. So
Yeah.
like I think Delta or JetBlue, one of them like made all their content free.
And you know, if you had to put stupid Gilmore Girls on hold for a couple hours while you were en route, it wouldn't be the end of the world.
Wouldn't it though?
We were having a very rigorous Gilmore Girls discussion before
I know.
we started
I've
recording.
never actually seen an episode, so I'm really
I
just
think
saying.
you really
that-
like it, Dana.
You are a
I think
lucky
you'd love
person.
it. Gilmore Girls is the best. Terrence is wrong. But yeah, the thing is like Netflix, I guess, completely changed our world in terms of how we anticipated content. Like we just need it now. We need it immediately. And we're going to, over 30% of America's primetime internet usage is Netflix, and probably even more by this point because that stat's a year old. So Netflix has taken over our lives, and now they'll just fill in every other gap. Any bit of free time, you could be Netflixing.
I mean, I guess
Yeah.
Here's my thing: is I think you're right. They had to do this. You're gonna get the point. Sorry, Dana. But it's hard not to be like a little bit disturbed by it. Like taking the train to work, just so many people like sitting there like watching TV shows on the train or playing games on the train or on the boat too. And it's just like, God, can you like do something more valuable with your time? Like,
I mean, yeah.
read something.
Read something.
There's newspapers.
Reading is overrated, Terrence. And also, people could be reading things on their phones.
I don't-
too, so,
I mean,
yeah.
that's fine. And I mean, I do see people reading on their phones, and I give them all the credit in the world for doing that. But most of the time, it's like really mindless games and like.
I don't really care what people do on their phones. And I mean, so actually, like outside of this intellectual exercise, I agree with Devindra. I think they needed to catch up to Amazon. And also, if Netflix is going to keep hiking its subscriber fees, it's going to have to, I think, back it up with useful features. And this is one that's useful. And apparently maybe not me personally, but other people were demanding. So that's Good.
It's just in 2 years, Netflix turned around from being like, no, we'll never do offline content.
I don't really understand why they said no.
I think the licensing deals, like Netflix,
It's probably part of it.
Yeah, they don't they make a lot of money, but they spend most of their money on licensing deals. But now that fast forward 2 years, they have more original content. They have stuff that they've actually built or made themselves. They don't have to deal with licensing fees, so they can just put that out there. I was surprised that there was a lot of other content too. Like there are a lot of movies and like all the DC TV shows are available offline.
Does
too.
offline apply to everything or just a smaller
Just
subset?
a small things right now,
Okay.
but it is a bunch of things that you'll want to binge, like a lot of the DC shows, so the Flash, Arrow, and things like that,
I think that's fair.
And all of their original content.
and all the original content
Obviously.
for sure, and even some movies like Moonrise Kingdom was there. And your phone or your tablet's not the best way to watch that beautiful movie, but
Yeah.
it's
I
nice
mean-
if you just want to take it somewhere.
Your phone is definitely not the best way to watch that.
Until your phone pops into a VR headset.
Yeah, and just one last thing before we move on. If you have issues with your phone battery now, just wait until
Oh,
you start
yeah.
watching Netflix on it all the time.
Oh yeah.
It's gonna be the worst.
Yeah.
Just the worst.